Hey everybody, what's going on? Hellmite here, bringing you another video from Grab the Lantern today. Today's video, I want to be talking a little bit about what I like to call the just go with it mentality and how it can help preserve your mental, especially in games. Now, all too often, we see someone hovering a champion that we really just don't want them to play, or pick a champion for a role that the champion doesn't normally get played in, or a duo locks in a super unconventional bot lane, and it's very, very tempting to just kind of lose your mental immediately upon seeing those kinds of things. So you see your top laner picking in Malphite against an all AP enemy team and be like, oh my god, he is just going to straight end, or you see your bot lane is hovering something silly like Teemo Veigar, and it's really difficult at that point to kind of be able to keep your mindset safe when you just know that they're gonna have a bad time and that this game is gonna be very difficult to win because the enemy bot lane is gonna be so far ahead given the situation, given what you're currently looking at. So either that, or you kind of say something and you're trying to really say like, hey, can you guys please play anything else, and maybe you get tilted before the game even starts. The just go with it mentality is basically looking at that situation and just going with it. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Sure, this looks weird, but whatever. I haven't seen them play it. I don't know if this guy is secretly a 2 million mastery Teemo main and he's done this multiple times, the 100% win rate. You never know, and at the end of the day, what this lane may end up being like. So the idea is to simply tell yourself, just go with it, because yeah, sure, it could totally end up being just as bad as you thought, but at the very least, by saying whatever happens, happens, and sort of letting that go and sort of saying, it's out of my hands, it allows you to focus on your own gameplay. It sort of allows you to roll with the punches and to say, okay, sure, fine, whatever, we have Leona bot lane with Diana, but that doesn't matter because I'm playing mid lane this game, so I'm going to do my best to make sure that our team is able to come ahead, or to be able to say, it doesn't matter that that's going on, or maybe even flexing your picks around to support this weird lane, saying, okay, we don't have an AD carry, but I can pick Lucian for mid lane instead of, because we don't have an AD carry otherwise because they're running something weird, so that way I can help make that work. So the idea is just sort of saying, it's gonna happen, there's nothing you can do to stop it, so you may as well let it go. Now, there is the ability to at least, politely request the team, hey, do you mind maybe playing something else, or to kind of say, hey, how well does that do in this particular matchup? Will we be able to look at this? Is there something else that we're going to be able to do here? But the point being is, if they say they're going to commit to it, just saying, okay, sure, whatever, we'll make it work somehow. And that way it does keep your mental on. And mental is very important, because if you mentally defeat yourself before the game starts, if you say, this is going to be a bad game, this game's not going to work out, bot lane's going to end, I'm not going to be able to do anything to affect this game if they feed super hard, then it more often than not becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You just don't play as well when you think the game is already lost as you do when the game is a winnable game, as you do when you think the game is totally winnable. It just, you don't play as hard, you don't take the plays that you can make because you're kind of saying, whatever, it's not going to work. It sounds weird, and it's not even something we consciously think about, where we think, oh, I'm thinking the game is lost, therefore the game is going to be lost, but it does happen, and I've seen it happen countless times where teams say, oh, we're so far behind, the game is totally lost, guys. And I'm thinking, no, the game is fine. Just roll with it, guys. We're going to be fine. The other thing that just go with it mentality helps out with is shot calling. And this is really why I wanted to make the video here, but I did think about, how this affects champ select. But the biggest thing here for shot calling is that all the time I see teams sort of ping two things at the same time, right? Especially we can see it. Your team scores an ace against the enemy team, and half the team pings Baron and half the team pings their inhibitor tower. And what ends up happening in some situations is, especially if people are really saying, no, my call is right, and they just start walking in a direction, then you end up getting nothing, because half the team went for the inhibitor tower and couldn't kill it before respawns came through, or half the team went to Baron, but naturally couldn't take it because they don't have the damage, they don't have the durability, etc., etc. So instead of committing to a single decision, the team kind of says, no, I'm right, you're wrong, this is the correct play, and therefore no play gets made. Essentially, you end up wasting the opportunity you gained from scoring that ace. So again, the just go with it mentality is sort of saying, even if you think your team is potentially in the wrong, if they won't sort of see what you're doing, if they won't say, okay, sure, we're going to commit to your play because you are correct, and I will admit that, then just go with whatever it is they're calling, even if you think it's a mistake. Because I see it actually a lot what happened with Baron plays, where You score a pick onto the enemy jungler maybe, and the team pings Baron, and it might be very early in the game, and sometimes players will just not commit to the Baron. They'll say, no, that's a throw. We can't go for Baron this early in the game. That's a throw. And so it ends up being a situation where you totally could have taken Baron. Baron totally could have been secured by your team. The enemy team was not in any position to contest it, but because the teammates decided, we know better than you, it doesn't end up happening. So with a go with it mentality, you kind of say, okay, sure, whatever. I think this is a throw, but at least I'm going to commit wholeheartedly to what may be a suboptimal or even bad play. Because what I often find is that a full team committing to a bad play is sometimes, not all the time, I'm going to couch this a little bit, but is sometimes better than a team half-heartedly committing to the perfect play or the optimal play. Right? Even if your top laner decides, this is the time to fight and I'm going to go in and initiate, but maybe his team doesn't immediately follow up. Maybe there's a team member who, okay, sure, I didn't really want to fight there. I guess I'll kind of step forward. Right? In that situation, even if the tank had a perfect initiation, the team may still end up losing that team fight, even though it was the perfect position to fight in because the team wasn't fully behind it, the team wasn't fully committed to it. Whereas conversely, if the enemy team in this situation says, we should not be fighting because Malphite just hit a 4-man ultimate, we're gonna lose this fight no matter what, if they just commit to that and say, we are going to fight this out, we're going to commit all our resources, we're going to try and make it work, sometimes that can be better than the team that sort of has a fragmented call, that sort of has a fragmented decision to say, well, I'm going to flash out, well, this guy's going to try and fight, well, this guy's going to try and kite backwards. It ends up leading to a situation where, because your team is trying to do too many things at the same time, none of them really end up getting done, as opposed to a team that at least says, we are all going to be on the same board. And now I do get that this can be a difficult thing to do, especially team fight wise. If you're not all in voice chat, it can be really hard to sort of coordinate in this regard. But especially in terms of macro shot calling, deciding we're going to go for a level 1 invasion, we're going to go for a Baron play here, we're going to try and go for this dive, that ability to sort of everyone coordinate and collaborate and go for it all at the same time, that is significantly better than the team having endless arguments about, well, is that actually the best decision? So again, the idea is to just kind of say, just go with it. I think it might be a throw for us to go for a level 1 invasion because they have a really strong all-in level 1, but whatever, I'm going to try to commit to this and make it happen, and oftentimes that will end up working out better than the team that just sort of says, like I said, whatever, we're all going to kind of do our own thing. So I know this was a bit more of an esoteric video here today, so I would like to see what your guys' thoughts are. Also, this doesn't mean turn your brain off entirely and just listen to whatever your team wants to do. If your team is saying, yeah, go for that solo dive, you can totally pull that off. It's totally fine to tell them, no, I don't think I'm gonna dive that guy one-on-one. I don't think that's gonna end up working out. I don't want to say, totally just don't pay any attention to stuff whatsoever, but if all else fails, just go with it in order to preserve your mental and help the team effort work. Now, with that out of the way, that is going to be it for me today, guys. Let me know what you're thinking of anything I've just talked about down in the comment section below. Would love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed today's video, go ahead and leave a like. And if you really enjoyed today's video, consider subscribing. I upload a video every Monday, Friday, and on patch days as well. Once again, thank you guys so very much for watching. I do appreciate it. And I'll talk to you all later.